All of the warmth that the room provided came across as superficial and fake. Steve adjusted the strap for his laptop's carry case as he dredged his way towards the evening admitting clerk. I've always said that they made morning way too early. I thought that morning should happen around noon. However, this is just crazy, grumbled Steve with a slight smirk on his face. He was always ready with a joke or a witty comment. Laugh, and the world laughs with you. Cry, and you will cry alone. His personal life was private, and certainly not the domain of the hospital or the gossip mongers that lurk around every corner and every desk. The redhead behind the desk giggled at his remark. You know you miss me, now that I'm working nights. Amber was a single mother at the young age of 22, burdened with the task of raising a child on her own after the deadbeat SP donor skipped town shortly after hearing the news that he was going to be a father. With working the night shift, her hourly wage increased due to shift differential. Unlike other girls her age, Amber realized that she had a responsibility to tending to her child's needs and could no longer be the party girl. After all, being the party girl is what put her in this predicament now. Steve silently appreciated Amber's motivation. He also appreciated her feminine features as well, but never voiced his admiration or acted upon his thoughts. He may not be able to touch, but he can certainly look. He's married, not dead. However, fantasy is just that, fantasy. It is not real, nor is it meant to become real. You caught me, Steve said with his hands in the air. If I wasn't married, I'd probably be on call a lot more. Steve paused for a moment to dwell on his thoughts. Well, in a few months, you may not be married. You'd be able to ask her out. Again, another pause as his mental conversation continued. Not that she would be interested in an old fart like me. I'm almost twice her age. Initially, Amber reacted with mirth. Her smile touched her eyes, but she sensed that something was on Steve's mind, and that mirth was replaced with concern and care. Anyway, they're still evaluating her. I'm sure she'll be fine. If you want to have a seat, I'll let you know when you can see her. His heart was in his throat, and his stomach twisted into knots. Steve tried to mask the pain from his broken heart with confusion. Evaluating her? If you're enjoying my content, consider joining my Patreon community. By becoming a patron, you'll get access to full parts of my videos much earlier than everyone else. Plus, you'll be supporting me to create even more awesome content for you. Check out the link in the description to join now. He shook his head, narrowing his eyes. I'm here to help Eric get those x-rays to Nighthawk. What are you talking about? Oh. Amber paused. She looked like a doe in headlights, trying to find some escape route to avoid the uncomfortable feeling. Uneasily, she asked, You don't know? The look on Steve's face compelled her to continue. Your wife was in an accident. She was admitted a half an hour ago. Steve stood there speechless, unable to formulate words. However, his thoughts were moving a mile a minute. Was she the stupid S that was giving some a whole a BJ? The B would never give me a damned BJ. She said it was disgusting. No, that can't be my W of a wife. Steve, the nurses are going to take good care of her. She'll be okay. Amber did her best to console. However, the sincerity in her words did a poor job of hiding her concern of the rumors that would be spreading throughout the hospital. Great. Now everyone knows that my loving wife is F someone else. Steve looked at Amber, scrutinizing her and her body language. When she failed to maintain eye contact, he knew that she knew. I guess I won't be asking her out. After this, she probably knows that I can't keep a woman satisfied in bed. And what woman in her right mind would want to date someone like that? Hell, how can I face anyone here at the hospital? I'll be in my office, Steve said tersely, leaving the admitting room without looking back. If he would have seen Amber shedding a tear for him. The bright lights and shimmering tinsel overpowered the fake pine spray and the dull artificial Christmas trees, trying to promote the holiday good cheer and obscure the cheap budget from view. Unfortunately, the smell of honey-glazed ham was not associated with this festive party, as one might expect during the Christmas season. No, the hospital was a politically correct facility and did not wish to offend the Muslims who abstained from having pork in their diet. Instead, the main entree for the holiday dinner was a chicken breast basted with creamy garlic butter and served over a bed of fettuccine. Having a choice of entrees would have added an extra and unneeded expense. Even the entertainment for the evening was an amateur DJ who earned the gig because he was someone's relative and wasn't that expensive. His selection in music was quite limited, either the redneck beer-drinking partying songs or the melodramatic tear-jerking slow melodies. He didn't even have any Christmas music to play during the course of the dinner. The lights that he used on the dance floor oscillated between the different colored bulbs at the same rate, regardless if it was an upbeat and fast-tempo song or a slow dancing ballad. When administration and hospital officials attempted to use the DJ's microphone, the speaker was constantly fighting reverb and that horrible ringing sound that is possibly worse than scraping nails on a chalkboard. One of the administration staff was Steve's boss, Jonathan. Not John or Johnny. The full name Jonathan sounded more distinguished and gave him the illusion of being old money. This blowhard was certainly a wizard in terms of finances and finding the gray areas and the gap standards to keep the hospital in the black. However, he truly excelled in politics and spinning events in his favor. During such celebrations, he would let everyone know that spending money on the employees was a big morale booster and was worth every penny spent. However, the next day, he would scrutinize every receipt and question the cost and the reasoning behind the spending. The chief financial officer aged like a $5 bottle of wine. His salt and pepper hair was mostly salt with a touch of pepper. His skin has been bronzed from countless hours out on the golf course and attending the country club's social functions. Unfortunately, the same could not be said for his wife. Diagnosed with terminal cancer, it was only a matter of time before she would pass away. Jonathan, of course, played up the supportive husband and demanded the best from the hospital staff when she came in for x-rays. However, it was at these social gatherings where Jonathan's true character was exhibited. Anything in a dress and had a shapely figure was fair game. In this rural setting, the holiday celebration was very much like an adult version of a high school prom. Women were allowed to take a half day off to get their hair done. Finding the perfect evening dress required shopping in malls hundreds of miles away, so that no one would have the exact same dress. Jill was no different than the rest of the women. For the housewife and mother of two, the holiday celebration was the one time out of the year when she could dress up and hold adult conversations with people her own age, rather than her children and her children's friends. She made sure to always look nice for her husband, as her appearance would be a reflection of her husband. The perfect curl in her hair, the right shimmer in her little black dress, and the right adjustment to her posture by her high heels culminated the appropriate look for a devoted and supportive wife. It was those pesky pounds that always bothered her. Taking walks, drinking water, and working out to exercise videos failed to rid her of that spare tire around her belly and hips. Back in October, Jill realized that the holiday season was fast approaching, with bikini season waiting in the wings. Bound and determined to finally rid herself of the cellulite and fat, Jill joined a gym and enrolled in one of their weight training sessions. If obese people on a reality show could lose weight, then Jill was going to do it as well. Jill tried to get Steve to enroll with her so that they could lose weight together. However, Steve always found an excuse as to why he could not go. Whether it was work, family, or yard work, Steve refrained from being by her side. Disappointed, Jill reluctantly accepted Steve's excuses, but refused to use them herself. After 3 months, Jill showed signs of healthy weight loss. Jill rewarded herself by buying a new evening dress. She needed a new dress because her old, tried, but true dress no longer fit. She dropped a couple of dress sizes. Jill made sure to reward herself with anything but food. It was the heart of the holiday season, and she was not about to succumb to temptation now. Jill's sheath dress conformed to the soft swell of her bosom and the gentle form of her feminine curves. The wide V neckline offered a modest glimpse of cleavage, though the plunging necklace helped with attracting attention to the valley hidden from view. Jonathan made his rounds to all the tables, greeting the directors and their spouses in political fashion prior to making a hasty exit. No Christmas bonuses meant unhappy employees, but hitting the bottom line meant a hefty bonus for the chief financial officer. His intentions shifted gears upon seeing Steve's wife. The DJ changed the tempo of the dance floor to a slow, love song. It was one of Jill's favorite songs and was in the process of standing up in order to drag her husband out to the floor. Steve had no objections until Jonathan asked for a dance. Steve wanted to say no, but it was his boss. Steve and Jill exchanged helpless glances. Not wishing to create a scene or a social faux pas, Jill accepted Jonathan's invitation to the dance floor. Jonathan had the advantage of being taller than Jill and allowed his eyes to sneak glances down the woman's dress as the slow song played on. His hands drifted south, coming to rest upon the woman's ass while pressing his body against hers. Such brazen actions in front of all the people in attendance stunned Jill into inaction. Her voice did not protest the placement of his hands. Her hands did not enlarge the gap between the two dancing bodies. Her widened eyes tried to communicate that she was highly embarrassed, but Jonathan did not care about her feelings, only what he was feeling. Fortunately, Steve recognized the plea for help from his wife. He graciously tapped Jonathan on the shoulder and asked, "May I cut in, Jonathan? I believe there was a board member looking for you in the bar." "You have a lovely wife, Steve. I hope you have a wonderful evening," Jonathan said in a polite manner, but showed signs of wanting to make a hasty exit in order to press palms with the board members. Although Steve may have acted quickly on his feet to rescue his wife, the damage from the transgression was done. Rumors and exaggerated tales of the chief financial officer groping Steve's wife and her lack of resistance spread throughout the hospital the next day.